consciousness in the country,
Ooh,
or the
okay.
impending recession, or the fact that I think that there's an attack on free speech.
Doom and gloom. Okay, keep going. What other bad things are happening?
There's so much doom and
Okay,
gloom.
okay, so consciousness, um, attack on free speech, and then the
Attack on a
economy,
family.
attack on the family. What else is bad?
The divisive rhetoric in politics.
Divisive rhetoric in politics. What else is bad?
The war in Europe.
War in Europe. What else?
Impen- Possible nuclear fallout.
Possible nuclear fallout. Okay. What else you got?
It's just fear porn at this point.
It is fear porn. I know it is. So, I know you said the shift in consciousness. Now, I mean, I think the shift in consciousness. Well, from my perspective, I think good things are happening. But then again, since you're listing all the doom and gloom, so I'm sure you have some things to say about that. What's going on in your mind?
Or I just pull up Google Trends and I'm trying to see what's trending right here.
What
It's
what is trending? That's a bunch of stupid crap.
Taylor Swift and Kim Kardashian.
Oh my god. What is going on with Taylor Swift and Kim Kardashian?
I don't care.
It doesn't matter at all, actually. In fact, that's like a stupid thing to bring up. But I'm pretty sure a lot of people out there are talking about something going on between them. I have no idea.
Top
Probably very
trend
important to some
search.
people.
Over 5 million plus searches. Aaron Carter. I don't know who Aaron
Like
Carter is.
Aaron Carter,
Like
like
the
the
singer.
younger brother of
You know who it
the
is?
Backstreet Boy? Or is he the Backstreet? Something Carter.
Oh yeah,
Aaron
he's one.
Carter's the younger brother, right? Of
Aaron
that
Carter,
one
pop,
Backstreet Boy.
pop singer and brother of Backstreet Boys, Nick Carter.
That
Yeah,
one.
yeah,
It is that guy.
he's dead.
Wait, what?
This is 2 hours ago. Was trending.
How?
How did Aaron Carter die? It says here, according to um, how did it just popped up as soon as I said how did it shut up. The singer turned rapper and actor was found dead Saturday at his house in Lancaster, California. At age 34,
What happened?
he uh, found
Drugs?
his
What is
body in
it?
a bathtub and they received a 911 call at 11 a.m. and he drowned in a bathtub. What
What
kind
happened?
of
Like he actually. How did you drown in a bathtub?
police found his body dead and it basically it's standard operating procedure for homicide detectives to investigate such death scenes.
Was he murdered?
Uh, TMZ obtained a photo of sheriff's car and paramedics outside Aaron's home. Aaron, it's not clear how he died. They just found his dead body.
You know what's wild? It just seems like everyone's dropping.
People are
Do you
dying.
realize that?
Yeah,
The last couple of years, everyone's just dying.
famous people too, right?
Famous people are dying, even people that we know, like people that I grew up with and that my siblings grew up with are dying too. Remember last year, like when Summer was visiting us, remember one of our family friends' daughter from back in when we lived in Apple Valley, their daughter who was only 1 year older than Summer, she died.
Hmm.
Remember I told you that one
Hmm.
morning and everything, and it just like hit me like, how, what in the world? And I think it was a drug thing, like a drug overdose, because I know that she's just like she became crazy, like kind of wild, for like the last couple of years.
And this is LA. LA is a cesspool.
Yeah,
It's just this. What's going
it
on there
is
is what I could summarize as debauchery.
debauchery.
Yeah, let me look up that word,
Yeah,
debauchery.
like a debauchery. I mean, a lot of people just are. I mean, and then our other family friend passed last year in a motorcycle accident. He was Bilal's age, and then
Excessive indulgence in sensual pleasures.
okay,
And I think that there's a lot of drug
I agree
abuse,
with
a
that.
lot
That
of
is happening a lot today. Debauchery,
why do you
excessive
think that's
use.
happening?
I think that there's a lot. There's just too much stimulation. And we were like, weren't we just having this? Actually, I was having a conversation with my brother just now through text, and I was telling him how I don't even want to watch Netflix anymore. Like, I don't want.
Yeah.
I'm not turned on my TV. In fact, anytime I do turn on Netflix, I'm just turned off, and like, there's nothing on that I actually want to spend my life watching. And what I realize is that because the last like month or so, we have not been watching much TV at all.
Yeah, stop watching the trash.
Exactly. And I think that once you
Trash.
step
That's what it
away
is.
and it's been a significant amount of time and you know that you've been doing like positive productive things with your mind,
Mhm.
especially because I've really been working on myself um recently. And so I feel like I've noticed like I'm understanding what TV did to me.
What?
It first of all, TV and movies, that's all passive and it's
Yeah.
training our brains to be addicted to just wasting our time passively. Like
Yeah.
our brain doesn't want since we've done this for so many years. I mean, I've been watching TV since I was born, right? And I've been on computers since I was, I don't know, 5. Like I've been in front of a screen doing passive things my entire life. So my brain is trained to just like have me sit there and let someone else do the work for me. Like my brain's not really trained. It doesn't matter how educated I am. Like I have not been trained to work very hard or to create so much and do something with the information that I receive and things like that. I think most of us are just trained to sit
Sit
there
there and just keep
and
taking it
take it.
very passively.
I think that's also another reason why I don't like learning actively. Like you always like go like, I want to be interactive when I learn. And I'm like, I just want to listen to a lecture. I just want to sit there and let the teacher go and watch it like it's TV.
Well, that's never worked for me.
You know,
I
like,
usually zone out or I fall asleep. And my
I
mind.
do zone out and fall asleep, but I still prefer that. Um, so, and then I think we're trained to not do, not really act, and not create. And I think that there's a bigger working here, and it's done that way on purpose. So the masses, we're just you do the work, you do your job, and then you're completely distracted into doing just passive things like sitting there and letting something else keep you busy until the next day when you have to get back to your job. And it's just keeping us completely distracted so we're not being
Mindless.
mindless. We're not being creative at all. And because our minds have to be doing something. Like we have to fill them up and we have to you know what I mean?
Yeah, because what I think is the closer God is creator, and the closer we want to get to God, we have to be creating. And when you're
We are
consuming,
creators, yeah.
yeah, when you're consuming, you're not creating, and
Right.
there's a gap or there's a hole that leaves. And then we spend so much time trying to fill that hole. We end up doing addictive things, whether it's drugs or it's social media.
Social
A lot of people
media
spend
is
so
just
much time on IG, and then our attention spans are just like ridiculously like low. So what I think eventually is happening is people people are losing God. We've become more and more godless.
uh-huh.
And when you're more and more godless, it's like an abyss. You're staring down an abyss and you're constantly trying to fill it up with dopamine hits. But
Yeah.
you can't.
It's not
It's never
sustainable.
enough because it's all you're always
Yeah.
you're always gonna keep chasing it.
Yeah.
And eventually people just find no reason to live anymore.
Uh-huh. Or they just keep seeking out more and more intense stimulation.
Yeah.
So they'll go for harder drugs. Or then we we become so desensitized to like the movies that we watch as well. Like if you compare the movie like action movies and horror movies that we watch now, they are insane.
I can't even
compared to
tolerate
like
anymore of it.
what it used to be like in the what like the 70s. Compare the 70s film to like how it is
Well,
now.
yeah.
The simulation is like out of control.
But I think what I really didn't like about the movies that we have that are on Netflix right now is just like how shallow it is. The conversations are shallow. There seems to be some type of propaganda being forced on me, and I
I
don't
feel like the
want
dialogues were super shallow back then too. I think they've always been.
it. Maybe they've always been shallow, but I think the older I get now, I just can't tolerate them
I
anymore.
think you could just see through it
Yeah,
because you kind of stepped back and you've broken away and you've gotten your mind to take in other things
I value my
or
time
you
more.
value your time more and
And
you learn a lot. You spend a lot of your time consuming like podcasts and you're learning information all the time. So when you watch something like an action movie, like a very basic action movie, it could have the top A-list actors, but and everyone else might be saying it's a good movie, but you're just kind of sitting there like, this is so fake, it's so trash, this would
yeah,
never happen, it's so shallow, no one talks like that.
I almost feel
It's not
insulted.
believable to you.
I,
You
I feel
always say that.
and it's not that I don't appreciate the work of the actors.
Yeah.
I think that they're doing an amazing job. What I don't like is that I'm not learning anything. And then they've taken 2 to 3 hours of my time that I could have been spent in creating something that would benefit me and benefit us together.
Yeah.
And I'm watching these people. And when I'm done with it, it's like I'm built up to this high. Like the movie, what was the show we were watching on Netflix recently? Mo,
Yeah, with Mo. I forgot what it's
amazing,
called, but yeah.
amazing story, very
Right.
relatable, right?
Right.
And I think that everyone should watch that. But then you come down from that high and you're like, damn, what the
What am I
hell?
supposed to do with my life
What,
now?
what are we supposed to do?
Especially when they leave you on such a high cliffhanger.
Yeah.
And now it's like, what were we so we're supposed to wait until next year when they create like 8 more episodes
Yeah.
for us to binge in 2 days and then just like
I would rather spend that time creating something.
I know, but like when they do that, they leave this hole in you, and
Yeah.
so we're looking for another show that'll top that on Netflix, or another crazy movie to watch, or maybe we even go. It sends us to like, okay, we have to see more of this guy.
Yeah.
So now we have to binge all of his comedy on Netflix, and then we have to like check out his social media and see if they like he has additional content, and then we're just like, I need more until so we can get something else that'll stimulate us even more than that, and then we can convert or move on to another thing.
It's a never
And then we're
ending
just
rush. It's a hole. And
it is,
and the
yeah.
moment you step back and just turn it off, whether it's social media, whether IG reels or TikTok, the moment you turn it off, you spend more time within yourself
Mhm.
alone without any stimulation. It seems like for me, I feel like I'm reclaiming a little bit of myself. Like today, the amount of time that we spent just sitting at the beach, listening to meditating and listening to positive stuff,
The
reading
time
a
just
book.
passed by so quickly, but yeah, it felt so therapeutic.
It was therapeutic.
It was a really nice day. And
Yeah.
I know we spent a ton of money on parking today and like just food, just randomly being, oh yeah, it's already been 5 hours. Let's go run and get some food and then come back.
Mhm.
But so still, it was worth it.
It was worth it.
And
Yeah.
it was amazing. You know what, though?
Let me say this real quick.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
R.I.P. to Aaron Carter. I wish his family well, and I hope that his soul rests.
That's actually heartbreaking because when
Yeah.
I was in 7th grade and 8th grade, I actually listened. He was one of those kid singers that like
I didn't know him.
you know when I was that exact because he's the same age as me, so I liked him.
I grew up on Backstreet Boys, so I
Yeah.
get it. But yeah. But you were gonna say something.
Oh no, were you finished?
No. So
About Aaron Carter and his family.
I think that I'm happy with the trajectory that we're on, where we're starting to call out social media and TV programming for what it
Yeah.
is, and recognize that you have to be deliberate about reclaiming your time. Your time is the number one asset that you have. Matter of fact, the most scarce asset that you have. And the quicker you start guarding your time and using it for more productive things, the
Hmm.
better for you overall in the long term. And just giving it away willingly to trash on Netflix or any one of those streaming platforms or to social media, you don't, it just doesn't pay off in the long run.
Yeah.
Or giving it away to any, because, or trying to fill it up with addiction or drugs or friends or people. I think the more insular that you can get,
Yeah.
then you allow yourself the opportunity to get to know yourself.
Hmm.
And we all have a God in us, or consciousness, or whatever you want to, however you want to refer it. The more you know yourself, the more you know God. And you get
Yes.
closer to God.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. And I mean, I always agreed with you about the whole, how dare they take our time, or like
Oh,
our time
it's
is that like our most
disrespectful.
like our most precious resource and or asset, and but how I used to think of it back then is like, yeah, I know my time is so precious. I want to spend it on excitement in Netflix.
Oh,
Like they're providing me with so much value. I love it. I need it.
I've always,
But it's an addiction.
yeah, it is.
It really is. So, and I'm realizing that now. You know what? I know that with like earlier today, or even just like a little while ago, you told me that like last year and whatnot, whenever you would want to like just have a conversation and things like that, or even like get out a camera and record us, and you always felt like I got, or like I was just mad that we're not watching Netflix, or
Hmm.
like why can't we just do something passive and relax and
I tell you what, how you refer it. You describe it as relaxing time.
exactly.
And
To
then
me,
like,
that was
no,
like the most okay. You know what? Because like since birth, that is like how I was trained, pretty
to
much.
watch TV to relax.
Yeah, like especially in the evening time for us, it was always like this is the time where we unwind as a family. We eat our dinner and we watch whatever like our family shows are that we all like together.
Yeah.
Like there was a phase where my family every night we would watch Fresh Prince, and then on this
I
night
like
we
some
would
Fresh
watch
Prince. I
this.
like me some
Then we would
Fresh
watch
Prince though.
yeah,
We all
like
grew
so we
up
would
on that.
have our shows that we watch every night starting at like 7:30 p.m. or 8 p.m. and we watch it until like 10 p.m. and then go to sleep and that's it. Okay.
Hmm.
Um, and so that felt normal to me, and that was like that's how you relax. This is what you do, and I know like that wasn't something you were just like, oh, well, like why or whatever, like why am I giving it to that and everything like that.
It always
But
irritated me.
yeah, you don't like that. But
I
I was just
preferred,
like,
yeah, I preferred experiences. I prefer that we spent more time doing something or
yeah, and I
learning
was just
something.
like, you like, ugh. There's nothing solid there. There's nothing wholesome, and to me, this was like wholesome time, and I really valued it because like that. Of course, it was a habitual thing. It was part of like my DNA pretty much because this is how I was trained since forever, my entire life.
Mm.
Um, but
DNA, I wouldn't say it'd go that
it's in
far.
my DNA.
Programming, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, it's programming. Um, so coming when you start backing away from that, even like with you and following you, whenever we didn't do that kind of thing because you're like, oh no, let's have this experience or let's do this instead or let's work on something, I would just like, this doesn't feel right. And basically, what was going on is I was experiencing withdrawals, if you will, okay? Like, I think those were
True
actual,
confessions, huh?
no, I really believe that those were like legitimate withdrawals. I
TV
think those were
withdrawals.
symptoms. Yeah, TV withdrawal symptoms because um, I needed to watch TV at a certain time of day. Like I don't have to watch TV in the morning or afternoon, but it better be happening in the evening
Yeah.
when we eat our dinner, you know? Like, and it better be a family moment.
That
Like,
was
we all
part
need to
of
watch the show together.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
That was part of how you closed the day.
That was how I would close the day. You know, it just felt so like normal and like those are like those family moments that you value like your entire life, and then we weren't having it, or those times when we didn't have it. Sometimes I forced it, or I really pushed it, and I know like you weren't having it. You're like, oh, fine, whatever, but then you just fall asleep
Yeah, because
and you don't even enjoy
it
it
was
with me. I'm
garbage.
like, ah. But yeah. So when I think the last several months, I actually haven't really been watching anything. I just kind of got turned off because I have felt like Netflix and all these other platforms, they suck. The content isn't good, and every
It's,
time I watch something, it's like I watch it, but I just feel so empty. I'm like, this isn't hitting the spot. I hate this. Like that one day when I was watching that one movie, you came inside and you're like, ew, what is this?
what was the name of it?
I don't remember the name of it, but it was with Rebel Wilson,
I don't know
that
these
one blonde
actors.
chick who's
Yeah,
like Australian.
she was
It was
irritating to me.
supposedly, it's supposed to be like one of those cute, fun, romantic comedy movies. And things like that I used to love, especially when I was a lot younger, like early 20s and teenage age. Like, I loved romantic comedies. I had so much fun watching them. They were so cute and light and fluffy. But
Oh my god.
they were. But, like, when I was watching it, I'm like, this feels so stupid. Like, no one would see that. Why are we. God. But at the same time, I'm like, well, at least it's not really like making my emotions do this. It's not like overly stimulating. It's just kind of like a light, fluffy thing to pass the time, and that's why I continued to watch it. Because I just wanted to like watch something, just for something to do at that time, since I didn't know what else to do. Um, but as I was watching it, I really felt like I really, really think that there's nothing good on TV anymore. And I understand why you only want to watch YouTube and consume specific content from certain people. And I used to hate that, but I get it now.
What were
And
the okay? What was the content that you didn't like that I was consuming?
no, I would be like, God, why can't you just watch a movie with me?
I always wanted to watch entrepreneurship
Yeah,
stuff
you want to watch your
and
podcast, you want to watch
crypto.
entrepreneurship. Yeah, like crypto, like you have all like your influencers that you have to watch, and you're like, I get my news from this, and I get my crypto news from this, and I gotta watch their episode. Oh, crypto guys and gentlemen's of crypto and Chico crypto, and then you have like sometimes you go on a binge with certain entrepreneurs that you discover, or even spiritual leaders.
Oh
Like you
yeah,
had a Sadhguru phase, and you had a
I had an
phase.
Osho face.
You had an Osho phase, like,
And
and
Vusi
I'm just like,
Tempapayo.
God, like, can we just like be normal and just watch like a nice movie on
Okay,
Netflix
let
and
me tell
just
you something.
I
There was a time, and I think this happened maybe like 2015, 2016. I was in a very low moment. And I found out that what got me out of that moment was because I started to consume completely different things. I started consuming things that was teaching me something. And
okay.
and even if I wasn't really acting on it, but the fact that I was learning something new was so stimulating to me.
Hmm.
And whenever I catch myself watching Hollywood was completely huge turn off to me because all of Hollywood was constantly depicting people that look like me as less than or incapable of or second fiddle to some guy who's like a superstar like Captain America and all these Avengers and all these big blockbusters.
Yeah.
I couldn't understand why people couldn't see through the nonsense, right? It
Because it's
was
an escape.
it wasn't enough for
It's
me
like
to
a drug.
escape through that. It wasn't enough. And it just I would always think that okay it's gonna get better, but it just got worse and worse and worse to the point where they're in your face about the nonsense and the programming and the ultra what I consider ultra left ideas,
Mhm.
and I find it to be demonic. I
Yeah.
just to put it in summary, and when you fill yourself with positivity and spiritual growth type messages and productivity and entrepreneurship and things that build you up,
Yeah.
When you get that kind of message, it's such a it's insulting to me. Because I just like my IQ is over here, and then this thing is over here, and I'm supposed to spend my time consuming it.
Yeah.
Like it's insulting. They should pay me to watch their trash.
They should say, actually, you're right, but that's not the point. They're okay. I think that the point, the bigger picture, is that they need to keep you distracted. They need to
Yeah,
keep you busy and passive.
I
Passive work.
refuse.
Okay, passive keeps people calm in the evening and going to bed after they watch their favorite show and getting up early in the morning and going to work
Back to
and
the
not
treadmill.
questioning things.
Yeah,
Okay? Because you're not sitting there like researching anything, you're not really learning a bunch of stuff. You're sitting there going, "Oh, let me watch a cute show that makes me feel nice and fluffy," or let me like watch something exciting, whatever type of content I like to consume to just unwind and relax and close out the day so that I can go back to my horrible job tomorrow.
yeah, that's no longer enough for me. It's
It's
never
not,
been
I
enough.
think it's not enough for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And that's why you're seeing so many, like, a lot of different types of content come out there, especially, oh, yeah, Netflix is coming up with new stuff, but in a way, a lot of the out there stuff, even on Netflix, is very surface level. Like, they're not really going in deep with a lot of even the
The
documentaries and
documentaries are
docu-series.
trash.
Yeah, they're not that
They're
great.
all like you'd see a documentary that's supposed to be about Africa, but it's not told from the perspective of the
And it's
Africans.
very surface.
It's
Like,
also just like
everything is just super surface
pushing
level.
pushing tired stereotypes. And it's like, okay, I'm that's why I kind of like YouTube because I can follow certain individuals that are willing to risk their lives, like sabbatical,
Yeah.
risk his life. Some random kid from New York risks his life traveling through Africa, going to places that I haven't
Having
even been
very
to.
real
Real
experiences.
experiences, and he's bringing it back to us, and I'm able to
Yeah.
live vicariously through this kid. And I'm just like, thank you. If I
And
could
he's also
meet,
inspiring people. Like, he's making people go, maybe it's not that bad. Maybe I
no, it's
should actually go
not.
out there and travel. I should quit being so afraid, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. When you
Or maybe
watch,
I should stop thinking so low of, like, people in Africa.
exactly, because
You know?
they're just human beings like you in search of
Right.
happiness and love, and they're just doing the same stuff that you're doing here. And but you will not get that type of messaging from Netflix or from
Yeah.
Amazon Prime. You have to watch certain individuals. I'm so happy that YouTube has democratized content. And I think that more people need to you see, listen, to turn your life around, you have to be deliberate about it. You can't be passive.
Yeah.
Because when you're passive, that's when
That's when you're,
you
like,
get you get
in the
caught up.
Matrix
Yeah,
or whatever.
you get
Yeah.
stuck,
Like,
and then before you know it, you're addicted, and then you kill
right, you
yourself.
can't do that. Oh yeah, and even going back back to where the point where I was like getting mad about how we're not watching Netflix every evening. In the last several months, like I've shifted. I have now that I've stepped away and I've prioritized maybe learning and meditating and even creating something or journaling.
Hmm.
Sometimes I can do a lot of random scripting, even though it's like nonsense what I'm writing down. But I'm just trying to like get I'm trying new things and getting myself out of the toxic like the toxic
Programming.
routine programming that I had done before, and honestly, I feel like I'm doing like I'm healthier.
Mm.
I feel like this last month especially has been like one of my most healthiest months. I think.
Yeah, I would
Just
say
like
so.
meant. You
Yeah.
think so?
You've been
Like
walking every day.
I've been
You've
walking
increased your
every
exercise.
day. I'm listening to books every day. I'm like doing like legitimate meditations. I'm going through like gratitude activities in my head, but positive things. And I'm really stepping away from this whole like let's watch TV and Netflix. I'm not even turned on. In fact, the idea of watching something, even though I tried to go back to it the other day, I just like wanted to put something on that like it just made it so clear that like, wow, this sucks.
What sucks?
TV and
Yeah.
movies, like it, Hollywood, Netflix, Hulu, just everything that is being created out there right now. I don't think that there's anything that's really that great. And when I do like, well, just I don't know. I think it's trash and it's ruining us.
Yeah.
I see the damage that it has caused me. Like I'm understanding now a lot of the damage that has been done.
Over the years, and
To me.
it's gonna take
And to
years
so
to
many
get to
people.
correct it.
Yeah,
It's
because
gonna
I'm
take
just barely
deliberate work.
purging some of it out.
Yeah.
Um,
Deliberate work, and
yeah.
you'll be better off for it, because now you're gonna pay attention to what you eat, what you consume. What you consume eventually becomes you. So be
Yeah.
deliberate about consuming positivity, and also turning around and creating and serving. We're here to serve people, to
Right.
serve humanity and expand. And if you're not doing that, and all you're doing is taking and consuming, it's like it's like drinking soda all day long.
Yeah,
It doesn't end well.
It is like we are just taking. Even when you just watch Netflix all day, you are taking.
At some point, you've got to give back.
You can't. You have to give back. If you're being passive, if you are a passive person, you are taking. That's what that means. If
So-
you really think about
So
it.
I think that we're on the right track, and we just have to keep doing it, because this idea that there's somebody out there, or some voodoo, not voodoo, some how do you call it, some big man out there trying to keep us down, or we're all under oppression. Everybody's sensitive now, and everyone is oppressed. Every group is oppressed.
But the thing is, I think we're oppressed because of us.
Yeah, but yes, there is programming happening, but you don't have to give it power. You don't have
That's
to
the
give it
thing,
your
and we
attention.
have to take responsibility for what we've done, because yeah, there may be there probably is like an evil group called the Cabal
Yeah,
or something like that.
it's
right?
possible.
There probably is.
But we have power when we take back our attention
we bought
and
into
direct
it.
it. Yeah.
We've been passive and we've allowed them, or whatever this powers that be. We bought into it and we did whatever they want. We became slaves and we just allowed it. We allowed ourselves to be like, well, I'm a victim to it. And I think that, okay, in a way that's kind of like, it's almost religion's fault as well. And I don't mean to like blame it on religion, but like if you think about it, religion, especially from the old days, it was always like you don't really have to take responsibility for yourself, or it was always like you can put it on something else. Like, look, I committed these sins, but the devil, and like, I committed these sins, but I don't really have to like atone for them and like make them up and forgive myself and do better. I just have to like tell the magical guy in the sky that like I'm sorry, or like just say, hey, please forgive me for my sins, and like that's all taken care of. So it's all out of my hands, and I don't have to take responsibility for the things that happen to me, or for the things that I do, for the way that I live, because I'm kind of a victim. I have to do this and that.
No,
and, like,
but I don't think it's
money
religion that's doing
really?
that. No, religion is actually.
Yeah.
Let me not say religion, but more spiritual growth, spirituality. Search for spirituality.
Yeah, spirituality.
That's what's gonna save
I
us.
think those are separate, because I think the religion was like. Religion became this. I think maybe it stemmed from spirituality and from, good stuff in the beginning, maybe, or maybe not. Who knows? But I think there are powers that be that just hijacked it and created a system based on just like fear and here are these rules, and if you don't do them, then you're gonna die and you're gonna burn in fire. But if you do them, then when you die, you get to go to a nice place. So,
but I don't want us to throw the baby out with the bathwater. That's an old adage. But I think that the point is, religion gave us purpose. Christianity, Islam these things gave us purpose. So in the absence of it, that's where people are looking for all these alternatives.
But I think
Now,
that
wait,
people. Okay, go ahead.
what I suggest that people do, I think that we should do,
Mhm.
is focus on the essence of it, the spiritual growth. And spiritual growth can come in different forms. It doesn't have
Mhm.
to come from spirits from any one specific religion.
Yeah.
It's a call to serve. It's a call to go inward instead of looking for answers in things or
In these rules
in
or this religious
addictions or
dogma,
religious dogma. It's a call
know that
to
God is in you. You don't have
you,
to go through
right,
anything else.
right.
Just you.
You like
You have all the
learn you,
answers.
be better, serve other, do good things, do
Right.
pure things, do godly things. And when you're doing that on a consistent basis, you become godly because
Yeah.
you're
I agree.
and God will be happy with you because this idea that it's your clothes or it's some event, Christmas or Halloween or any one of these cultural things
All the stuff
we
that we're supposed to buy
observe.
for each other.
Yeah,
All the
that's not where it
money we're
is.
supposed to spend. Oh, really?
These are programming. It's tricks to merchandise that we've been programmed to accept.
Yeah.
So you have to detach yourself from that and start doing learn about other people. And if you don't want to learn about other people, it's fine, but do righteous, pure things to yourself, to your neighbors, to your friends. Then you'll be all better for it.
I think it does. You're right. Like it starts with within.
Yeah.
Go, like you were saying, go insular and just look look at yourself, and find God within yourself. And I think after that point, that's going to inspire you
Mhm.
to do all the godly stuff or to provide value to people in whatever way. And it's not going to look the same for every one person.
Right.
So the thing is, you can't get mad at people for not following God in the same way that you
did.
do.
Right.
That's another thing. Everyone's going to be doing this different, but if they are doing positive, godly things, you should feel it.
You should respect
You're going to
it.
know it, and you
Respect
should
their right
respect
to
it.
do it.
Right.
And this idea that that there's any one particular group that's better than others or that
Right.
are allowed to speak. But there's this thing that's also going on in media where it's a different topic. It's like my trauma was more than yours. It's like trauma.
Competition?
So yeah, competition of trauma.
Yeah.
Whether it's the women or minority groups or religious groups, everyone's like, well, we suffered more than you did. Stupid.
Then what's supposed to happen if you suffered more than someone else? What happens then? So what's next?
Yeah, what's next? How do we heal from it?
Because, are we supposed to just keep yelling at everyone about how much this group suffered or our group suffered or your group? What happened? Is there a prize or, what's supposed to happen? Are you going to, does everyone in your group get $100 for suffering more?
Yeah. It's silly.
What is the rule here? How do
we evolve as people?
Do we just keep getting mad at each other about, accusing the other person of not really suffering as much as they say that they've suffered? Or what I don't know, what is the point to all this? I think that we're supposed to evolve out of it, and because when we suffer, isn't the whole point of suffering to know the opposite? The only reason why we go through suffering, I think, is so that we can know what God is.
To learn and grow.
What God is, what the light is, what wholeness or goodness is. We don't know what good is unless you've experienced bad.
Yeah.
You don't know what light is unless you've experienced dark. Otherwise, if everything was always light, how would we even know that light exists?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's a good
unless
point.
we've experienced dark, and then we went, oh, okay, so there are two different things.
People
and now, because I only know, and how do I even know that you're you and I'm me? Because if we were all the same, wouldn't I just wouldn't we just kind of feel like we're all one. We're all
Well,
the same thing. Like we wouldn't. I know you in relationship to how to me, and I know like that's how I know you exist, and I know your personality because I'm experiencing you and I'm contrasting you to me all the time. And I'm pretty sure you're doing that with me as well. I think that's how we as human beings, that's how we get to know our environment and all that. And if we don't know each other and we don't know who we are and we don't know everything around us, then how are we supposed to grow? So we have to experience these things.
yeah, this our stories are important, and they're important because we're supposed to learn from it, and we're
Right.
supposed to dialogue. The the conversation on the media is always like pointing fingers at the other group. It's always like us versus them. It's
Yeah.
stupid. We're all members of the human race. We're all in this together. So if I don't understand you or your struggle, the solution to it is not to castigate. The solution is to sit down across from each other and just talk about it.
Uh-huh.
You say your own piece, I say my own piece, and we meet at the middle. It's not happening, but it's not happening in a larger scene. But I think it starts from me and you. It starts from
Uh-huh.
us, each individual taking responsibility for that larger narrative. Because if we just sit back passively and just blame, well, I don't like what's going on, and everyone is always, we all agree that there's something going wrong.
Who likes what's going on?
Nobody. We all agree that there's clearly a problem. We're not
Right.
moving forward as a society. Well, then we should start fixing it. Let's start creating, now that media has been democratized and we can also have podcasts, let's all start talking.
Right.
All warring parts should talk, like all different religions should sit across from each other and talk. Different genders should sit across from each other and talk. Let's all start talking.
Mm-hmm.
And rather than playing victim and rehashing the past and
Mm-hmm.
blaming this and that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, again,
And how do you move forward? I mean, okay, so yeah, just talk and
talk with the goal to
to
grow and learn and be
right
better, not to fight
to continue the competition because I
to
feel like that's
compete.
what happens a lot. Most conversations that I've seen, especially okay, for example, the whole Kanye situation.
We're gonna talk about that in a minute because that's a
But
whole
it
different
always
topic.
just seems like it's just
the, the,
it's like this group and then that group and then the Jews and then this and then
we'll talk about it, but I wanted to say R.I.P. to Aaron Carter.
okay.
I hope that people can take away from it to put away their addictions, put away,
Uh-huh.
and
Yeah.
start that journey of spiritual growth and finding yourself and
Mm-hmm.
finding your purpose.
Yeah.
It's not an easy road, but the destination is not the goal. Going through that journey, your failures and your success, the highs and the lows, that's actually the goal. That's where you find happiness. You put away your identities, put away your memories, all those things, those titles that you've claimed along the way, get rid of them. Every day is new, and
Yeah.
learn and live
Mm-hmm.
every day in the present. Like be present. And
Right.
when you meet people, give serve.
Yeah, I like what you said in the present. Like, stop holding on to the past memories. Because when we do that, we judge them.
Yeah.
We put judgment on them and we really hold them tightly. And that judgment is usually negative.
Yeah.
And that ruins the present.
Yeah, because we're dragging
It
the past
really, really,
forward. And we constantly spend so much time looking in the rearview mirror, talking about history. Oh, you remember what happened, Sever? Those were different people.
yeah.
This is 2022. How do we move forward?
If every moment is a new moment, every moment, if you decide that you're going to be a new person, you are a new person every moment going forward.
Right.
So
As a
you
collective.
can leave that in the past and you can just cut off that judgment
Yeah.
and decide just that I'm just gonna leave it where it is, disconnect from it, and cleanse myself of that, and be a whole new person going forward.
Yeah.
In every new moment, and I think that is how you live in the moment. You can't really carry those past judgments going forward, otherwise you will stick in the past.
Yeah. All right. That's it. You want anything else?
I guess that's all. I mean,
I'd like to eat something.
okay.